digest really fast when I'm watching a show or a movie, so I tend not to watch that many TV shows. I usually watch movies, but even with movies, I'm very picky about the ones that I like. A lot of times I get bored really fast, so these actually get my attention. And yeah, so enough rambling. We'll just get into the video. Okay, so I don't have like summaries or anything for these movies. Like, I'm not reading summaries off of a screen, obviously. So I'm gonna come up with them off the top of my head, which can be a little bit hard sometimes. But I'm gonna try anyway. Okay, so the first movie that I have to tell you guys about is called The Gift. The Gift, The Gift, The Gift. And it was released in 2015. And it is labeled as a thriller slash mystery. So, The Gift is basically about this man that meets, or runs into an old classmate, and his new wife or fiance, and they run into each other at the grocery store, and basically the guy is like, hey, I haven't seen you in a while, and the man's like, hey, what have you been up to, and stuff like that, and his wife's super casual about it. Turns out the guy, I'm not giving anything away here, but turns out like the guy who's in the couple, the man with the wife, he had never seen that guy in his life. I mean, he was just some random dude, or so he says. So it's kind of a mystery, and this guy starts basically showing up to their house, and it gets really crazy. Basically harasses them, the wife. There's just so many things that honestly don't make sense when you're watching it until the very end. So it's one of those movies that's kind of gonna leave you like, what the heck, your mind's gonna be kind of blown, which is what I like in a movie. So that's the kind of movie this is. So if you're interested in that, you may like this movie a lot. It's not super low budget, and it's not talked about all the time. I feel like maybe some of you guys have heard of it or seen it already, but for me, I had actually never heard of it, so I made sure I wanted to include this movie. Also, these are not in any specific order. It's just what I thought of first to last, so Circle, circle, circle. I promise you guys, not all of these were made in 2015, but this one also is. And it is labeled as a horror slash sci-fi. If you're anything like me, as I was saying, usually if I saw sci-fi in the description, I wouldn't even watch it, but I'm glad I watched this one. Basically, Circle is about these random people. I mean, ages from super young to older, all races, all beliefs, all everything, very diverse people. And they all wake up and they're in this circle. Each one is standing on a little circle, but together, they're in one big circle. And basically, how do I describe this? Like, whoever this beeper thing lands on, or this light lands on, like, they die. But it gets to a point where the people get to choose who dies next. So it's kind of like, someone would say, well, he or she believes in this, or he or she has this much money, or they're offering this much to society, so they deserve to live, or they don't deserve to live more or less than this other person. And this other person, is kind of throwing it back at them, like, well, you're like this, or you look like this, or you talk like this, or whatever, so you don't deserve, or you do deserve to live more than this person. Hopefully you guys kind of get the gist, but it's very interesting, and you see people's personalities come out as the movie goes on, and you kind of see what they stand for, each individual, and it's honestly really interesting. At first, I wouldn't think this is a movie that I would love, and honestly, it's not my favorite. However, I mean, if you have some extra time 30s, I don't know.